Hi everyone, for today's video, I'm going to be talking about the EB Advanced Power Paint from Bilena Cosmetics. Now, just a brief history, Bilena Cosmetics is actually a Filipino brand that has been around since the 80s. And I have used some of their products, especially during the early part of my experience in makeup artistry, especially when I was doing drag. The main reason why is because they were the only makeup line that was extensively available here in the Philippines, and they had a lot of colors available. Now, I didn't use a lot of their products, but I mainly played with their blushes and with their lipsticks, which was actually quite good. But ever since I turned professional, their brand went under my radar, and because some brands pulled harder. And it was only back in August 2019 when a former student of mine sent me a photo through a DM on Instagram showing me these products from Bilena Cosmetics. I have to say that I was very, very intrigued by these because they do look like my favorite gel cream blush from Glossier, the cloud paints. It's unmistakable where these are inspired from. But I am not going to compare the power paint to the cloud paint, mainly because I haven't used this yet and I don't know how this will perform, how this will layer, and how this will apply on the skin. So I'm not going to do a side-by-side comparison. But I have to say that if this is inspired from the Glossier Cloud Paint, this has big shoes to fill. Now, I forgot about these after my student sent me the picture on Instagram because I didn't need any blushes at that time. And the only time I got reacquainted with this is when I saw this available on Lazada. Now, Lazada is like Alibaba here in the Philippines. And this was like floating around on the main page, and I was like, oh, these were the cream blushes that Kat was talking about, and I said I might as well try it because I'm not doing anything anyway, and I love using gel and cream blushes. I find that I am able to work with them a lot better, and I am able to blend them into the skin or into the foundation better. And so I decided to purchase this. This cost around 796 pesos, if I am correct, for a set of 4. Now, if individually, this would sell for 199 pesos. And this set actually came with a clear bag like this, which I didn't need. Now, about the packaging, they arrive like this. I actually didn't want to open them at first because I wanted to do an unboxing here on this video. But when I received this, one of the boxes was damaged and I decided to check it out. And when I opened it, there was no spillage, so I was glad about that. And also when I opened it for the first time, I realized that it was actually clear at the back. So I think this would have been packaged this way. So I think somebody at the QA before this was delivered should have checked that out, because when they arrived, they all looked like this, and I thought that they sent me the wrong colors because they all looked the same. But when I realized that they actually were supposed to be packaged this way, I realized that I actually had all of the right colors that was being advertised. Now, about the packaging here, it does look very similar to the Glossier Cloud Paint. But there are a few exceptions. For example, the color here is too wide, and then there is a gap here. You can see a white, but with the Glossier Cloud Paint, it's actually colored all the way. Please don't give it a bad rap because I have seen this type of packaging available all over the cosmetics industry, and it actually reminds me more of my acrylic paints because they almost have the same look. Even the cap, it has 8 sides, which is actually very, very helpful for us because it's much more easier for us to open the cap. Now, speaking of cap, the Bilena Power Paint doesn't have a foil here on the opening, which was a bit of a surprise for me because the Cloud Paints actually had a foil that covered the opening. And this is a plastic tube, while the Glossier Cloud Paint is actually made of aluminum. So the bad thing about this type of packaging is that it has rebound, so when you squeeze this out, some of the product will actually go back in because that's just how plastic tubes are. So just be very careful with that because that sucks in oxygen into the packaging and causes oxidation of the product. So just be very, very careful that when you're putting it on the palm of your hand or on a surface, it should be clean so that it doesn't suck in a lot of microbes and it destroys the preservatives inside this product. Okay, now let's talk about ingredients. So this product has cyclopentasiloxane. So this is a volatile silicone that evaporates and it doesn't get absorbed in the skin. This has dimethicone cross polymer, so this is actually a fixative, and this is also the one that forms a film on top of the skin. Now this ingredient is also part of my favorite sunscreen, so I'm good with that. This also has isohexadecane, so this is the one that provides a powdery finish, and there is also isononanoate. Sorry about that. I can't pronounce these things. This gives like a moisturizing effect on the skin. And this has talc. This has isododecane. So this is the one that provides a mattifying effect. And there's ethylene propylene styrene copolymer. This is the one that it's like a gel. It creates like it's a gel forming ingredient. There's silica and there's silica dimethylsilyllate. This is the one that provides long-lasting effect. There is phenoxyethanol and ethyl hexyl glycerin. So these are the preservatives inside the products. This also has BHT, butylated hydroxytoluene, if I remember correctly. This is like some sort of antioxidant. And this also has fragrance, so that's good to know. And this also has a lot of dyes on it. Now, based on the ingredients list that I see here, I know that this product is long lasting. It mattifies to a powdery finish, and it also has fragrance. So one thing that we have to consider is that if you have oily skin, this is great to use, but if you have dry skin, just be very careful with that. And also if you have sensitive skin, because this has fragrance, you also have to take note of that and just be very wary of it. Now, I love scent and I'm very intrigued by this scent. It actually smells like vanilla, like a very nice powdery vanilla. Very sweet. Okay, so what else is still in the packaging? So aside from the batch number, it's made in China. Here. The EB Advanced Power Paint Multi-Use Cream is an all-in-one color product that can be used on the eyes, cheeks, lips, and body. Oh, okay, so it's multi-use. It's intensely pigmented but easy to blend, and the color cream goes on soft and sets a smooth, lightweight, powdery finish. Well, if that's the case, I don't think I'm going to be using this on my lips because I don't like long-wearing products on my lips. I find that they're too drying, but if this is good to use on the eyes, that's good then, because if you're creating like a nice tonal look, this would be great to use. And because this does, based on the ingredients that we read earlier, if this dries easily, it means that it won't blend or melt into the eye. So that's actually good. Okay, so I placed some of the colors here on my palette, and let's see how they would look like on the skin. Okay, so the first color that we have here is called Scarlet. And oh my god, that is indeed highly pigmented. I wasn't expecting that. Next, we'll have, this is Chiffon. Okay, so that's a very nice mauve color. Very, very wearable. I actually have a favorite lipstick in this color, so I'm good with that. Next, we have something called Sangria. Okay. Interesting color, very, very intense. It's like a nice brick kind of red, quite muted, unlike the Scarlet. Here, it's very, very bright red. And the last color that I'm gonna swatch is Amber. Okay, so Amber is much more orangey, and this will look great on someone who has fair skin. Now, Scarlet, I think this will look good on someone who has very dark skin. And this on these two will work on a multitude number of skin tones. Because, oh my god, they're highly pigmented, as you can see here on my fingers. So we have to be very, very careful when we are using them on ourselves. Now, in terms of the texture, it's very, very smooth and it's very, very creamy. I'm so surprised by that because I was expecting it to be much more gel-like, but it has a much more creamy consistency than, let's say, the Glossier Cloud Paint. And I think I have more playtime with these products than the Glossier Cloud Paint. Okay, so let's try them out and see how it looks like on my skin. And I'm just gonna be using my fingers for this. I'm using the color Chiffon. Oh my god, look at that. So be very careful. I think a little goes a long, long way. So it still dries to it still has like that gel-like consistency. So we just have to be very, very careful with this. And you have to blend this and apply this quickly because it does dry fast. This is actually a very nice color. Oh, I'm so surprised. So it does leave a nice stain, so which is good. And you can layer on so that you can increase its intensity. But oh my god, this is like so much color. Okay, so I actually like how it looks on plain skin. And although when we first applied it, it was a very intense, bold color. But as the product starts to dry up, I could see that the color is also starting to light up. Now, I can see some patching and some holes on my skin, but I think that's my fault because the product that I applied on my cheeks, I actually swatched it. So the product has already been exposed to the air and it already started its drying process when I started to apply it. So I think a little goes a long way with this product, and you have a certain amount of play time so that you can layer and blend these cheek product properly. That's a nice color. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to see how well it layers with foundation. So I'm just gonna apply it sparingly. This is very, very little. I do apologize for the goat. My neighbor left his goat somewhere in the field just behind the house. So we can hear him right now. And also somebody's chopping wood because there was actually a storm here early this week. So a few trees have fallen and this is the only day that the sun came out. Although there are some clouds going on. But people are taking advantage of actually chopping up fallen trees and fixing their gardens. Okay, so I also like the fact that it's very easy to layer foundation over the product. And I could also see that while I am dragging the brush over the blush product, there is no transfer on the brush. So that's actually good. And I could also see that there was no running of the product across my cheeks and also onto my forehead and also on other parts of my face. But I also like that it blended very well with the foundation. Not bad, not bad. Kudos, kudos. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to layer the product using a brush on top of the foundation. And let's see how well this blends. Oh my god, this is a very highly pigmented product. Okay, I think I might have loaded the brush with too much product, and let's just blend it a bit with some of the foundation just to tone it down a bit and just to blend it. There, that's good. Very, very well blended, very soft, very muted. I like that. So just be very careful when you're using this with a brush because it does pick up a lot of color. So a little goes a long, long way. I am impressed. I am very impressed. Okay, now I'm going to be using the color Sangria on the eyes, and let's see how well this applies and blends. Okay, this is actually too red, but this is a very nice bright color. Okay, I am very surprised at the intensity of the pigment of this product. It takes a certain amount of confidence when you're using this for specific areas like your eyes. And I think for certain colors like this would be great to use as a cheek and a lip combo because it's just too intense and too red. Like if you're very fair skinned and you use this on your eyes, it might make you look a little bit sick. But in terms of the formulation, it's not painful. It doesn't feel painful on my eyes. It feels very, very lightweight and it doesn't feel like, you know, like sometimes when you're using products on the eyes and it's too thick, you can feel like it's obstructing how you blink. But so far, it's not forming any creases yet on my eyes. So let's just wait a little bit later and see how it actually performs as we go along throughout the video. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to see how this would layer on long wearing foundations, because I find that sometimes when I'm using long wearing foundations like this Estee Lauder double wear, I find that when I'm using long wear blushes, it's very difficult for me to blend them together. Now, I don't know if it's just me or I'm using the wrong technique or it was just bad timing. Let's see how these two will work together. Okay, I'm going to use the color Amber on this side of my face. So I'm using a very little amount of product as we go along, and let's just see how it builds up. Okay, this is a very nice color as well. Very peachy and orangey, so very, very fresh looking. I can see that some of the pigment is clinging on certain parts of my face, like on the foundation, but I think that's already expected. And I already know that I don't use long wearing products together because it's gonna be very difficult for me to blend them. Now you can't really see it on screen because it's a very light blush color, but I think you can get away with it if you build the color slowly. Okay, this is a very, very nice color. I am impressed. This reminds me of my very old blush color that I like from Laura Mercier. Now it's actually very orange when you squeeze it out from the tube, but as you start blending it, it's actually very light. Oh, this is nice. This is nice. I like this color. Okay, let's try applying it on the eyelids. Okay, so I have realized that if you layer the product on a certain part of the face, like example on the eyes here, you'll have a much more intense color application. But if you blend it out on a much more bigger area, like your cheeks, the color is going to be much more subtle. So this gives you a nice way of playing up the colors and also playing up the intensity on how you want it to be. Now for the eyes, I can see that there's a little bit of creasing going on, and I can also see some patching going on. So maybe if you would use an eye base before you apply this would maybe last longer and, you know, avoid any creasing. But other than that, it's good, it's good. Okay, let's try it on the lips and let's see how it applies. I am using the color Chiffon. So I'm just using my fingers. I'm like creating a stain. Okay, so this is actually a nice color, very, very wearable, great for every day. Okay, so while we're waiting for my lips to dry, to see how it feels like, I could actually see that here in my palette, they're actually starting to become quite powdery. So if you're thinking if there is any need for you to set your cheeks with powder, like with setting powder or some blush powder, I don't think you'd need to do that because it's gonna be matte anyway. Maybe if you find it a little bit too matte, you might add a little bit of some highlighter and that should be good. Okay, now it feels very comfortable on the lips, I have to say. I'm very surprised with that, and it doesn't feel too dry, which is actually good. And I think you can build the color and intensity that you want with this product. It's not also very sticky and tacky, and it doesn't feel like it's making my lips tight. So that's actually good. So my final thoughts about the EB Advanced Power Paint from Bilena Cosmetics. They are quite good. Very intense color, very intense payoff. I like their blendability, and I also like that they're buildable. I don't think this is great to use on the eyes. Maybe if I would have used an eye base first, this would last longer and there would be no creasing going on. So I'm gonna do that in the future. I love that this has a nice vanilla scent, very gentle, very cute. Smells very young and smells delicious, so not so bad. I like the fact that it's not making me itch. It's not making my skin prickle, so it means that I am not having any allergic reaction to any of the ingredients of the product that's in it. It's also not making my lips feel dry. It's not also making my lips look dry at the moment. But this is also very great to use when you're wearing facial masks. Although there is some minimal transfer because this dries down to a powder finish, so there will be transfer. But it's not that extensive, but then again, this is a very light color, so I don't know how it's gonna be if you wear the darker shade, like the color of Scarlet. So maybe it might be more obvious, but I have to say, so far so good. I like how the products look like and how it appears on the skin, especially as a blush, and I think this will be in my makeup kit permanently. Now, of all the colors that I swatched today, I like the color of amber and chiffon the best because they're very wearable and they're also very easy to blend. Now, for Scarlet and Sangria, I think this would be great on people who have much more deeper skin tones than I have, because they would just pop out more and it could really enhance their undertones more. And I also think this would be great to use on the lips and on the cheeks than on the eyes, because I think the red pigments in them might make you look a little bit sick. I think that the Power Paint from Bilena Cosmetics is a dupe for the Glossier Cloud Paints, but I have to say that the finishes are very different. The Power Paint is much more intense and much more opaque, while the Glossier Cloud Paint actually delivers a much more dewy stain on the cheeks, which is not as intense as the Power Paint, but a much more subdued wash of color. So that's it for me today. I hope you had a wonderful time getting to know these 4 products with me today. It was a surprise and I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to getting to know these products in the next few weeks as I go back to work. And if you have any more questions about the Bilena Power Paint, please leave them down at the comments box below and let's have a conversation about these. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a good day wherever you are. Bye bye.